Take time for now. This is the only moment you are sure of. Take time for a family. You will miss them immeasurably when they're gone. Take time for work, but don't let work take all of your time. Take time to laugh. Laughter raises spirits and lifts the gloom. Take time to exercise. You have one body, and you should look after it well. Take time to understand that we cannot save time. We can just try to use it wisely. So take your time to live. I've learned that no one is perfect until they fall in love with them. I've learned that a smile is an inexpensive way to improve your looks. I've learned that everyone wants to live on top of the mountain, but all the happiness and growth occurs while they were climbing it. I've learned that the less time I have to work with, the more things I get done. I've learned that I wish I could have told my dad that I love him one more time before he passed away. But you are not. Your children are not your children. They're the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you but not from you. And though they're with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may have their bodies but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, but you are not there. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backward or tarries with yesterday. The furthest distance in the world is not between life and death, but when I stand in front of you, yet you don't know that I love you. The furthest distance in the world is not when I stand in front of you, yet you can't see my love, but when undoubtedly knowing the love from both, yet cannot be together. The furthest distance in the world is not being apart while being in love, but when plainly cannot resist the yearning, yet pretending you have never been in my heart. Failure doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you haven't succeeded yet. Failure doesn't mean you don't have it. It doesn't mean you have to do something in a different way. Failure doesn't mean you should give up. It does mean you must try harder. Failure doesn't mean you'll never make it. It does mean it will take a little longer. 10 years ago, we were children of our parents. 10 years later, we become parents of our children. 10 years ago, I yearned for a living far away from home. 10 years later, I am longing to return my drifting heart home. 10 years ago, I shouted and thundered at my parents. 10 years later, I wish my parents scold me again, even in my dream. Count your blessings instead of your crosses. Count your gains instead of your losses. Count your joys instead of your woes. Count your friends instead of your foes. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think that you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win but you think you can, it's almost certain that you won't. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can.